So I have a video for you, and this is the most successful investor ever, Billionaire Stan Druckenmiller, or Drunkenmiller. And I got this video from Zero Hedge, and the title of the article where the video is in is "The Secret is Out." And pay close attention to what this billionaire is saying, because at the end of the video, it gives you the clues or who's going to be affected the most and why. All right, here's that video.
But let's start with the Fed and inequality. I don't think there has been any greater engine of inequality than the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States the last 11 years. So hearing the chairman talk about visiting homeless shelters is very, very rich indeed. I just had the best year I've had in 15 years last year. Everyone wealthy I know is making a fortune. And why are we making it? Because this guy is printing money like there's no tomorrow. And the kids in Harlem, in my opinion, are not benefiting from money printing, but Stan Druckenmiller and other wealthy people are. So for the life of me, I can't figure out why the left is so excited about money printing when all the data says the people that benefit from money printing are rich people that know how to navigate the markets. The odds-on bet is we're going to have inflation, and inflation is going to hurt poor people, again, a lot more than rich people. How does this thing end? To me, the asset bubble, which he's blowing up into unbelievable proportions, busts before the inflation ever really manifests itself. That's what happened with the housing thing in 08, 09. We never really got to the inflation because the asset bubble burst. Not dissimilar to what happened in 29. That's not my central case, but let me just say, we've never had a deflationary bust because inflation was too close to zero or 1.5 instead of 2. We've had them because we've had these tremendous asset bubbles. It happened here in 29. It happened in Japan in 90. And obviously it happened in the great financial crisis. And there is no group that will get hurt more by a bust than the poor. They will be first in line to get screwed. Trust me.
All right, so his video is very important because he points out different things. The very first thing is that he's talking about the Fed. And, right now the Fed is a bit of focus here, but we're going to be shifting a bit. The reason they're in focus is because they're the ones that are printing all this money. They're the ones who are devaluing the dollar. All right, so what you're seeing in front of you right now is a little picture. All right, for the people who are listening to this, the podcast, this is kind of a diagram of the purchasing power of the U.S. dollar. And you have a timeline here, and the graph shows how the purchasing power of the dollar peaked, then it goes down, peaks again, and then it has been steadily falling since pretty much 1930s. And when the Fed first was created back in 1913, you could actually buy 30 Hershey chocolate bars just with $1. But if you fast forward to 2021, the only thing you can buy with $1 is a McDonald's coffee. And you for the people who are able to see this on the video, you are seeing right there all the different items that you used to be able to buy with just $1. All right. So, and the price that's on top of it, it shows you how much it costs to buy the same items, for the dollars today. So that is really important. So if the Fed is going to print all this money, they're creating the inequality in that the rich people have the assets, they have the resources, they have the experts that they can go to, pay all this money to, and say, all right, I need you to tell me where I need to put my money so it can grow. That's the reason why through the pandemic, we saw, more billionaires being made, more millionaires being made. We saw that the people who are already in the 1%, their riches got a lot bigger. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going by memory here, the combined wealth of rich people, I don't remember correctly if it was from around the world, just the United States, but it was something like they went from owning $7 trillion together collectively to over 15. That's how much their wealth grew through the pandemic. And yes, you can say the government was involved and they did all this. Yeah, sure. But what I'm saying is that the people who were, laid off through the pandemic, they didn't make any wealth. Actually, people were being evicted. People were making miles and miles long worth of line just to try to get something from the food bank. People were going at 2 a.m. trying to be the first ones there just to find out that there were already people there waiting before they even got there. All right, so these are the people who are affected the most. The rich people don't worry about it, right? They just take their assets, they go somewhere else. They convert it into gold. They convert it into property. That is the reason why they stay rich. For us, that we don't have the ability to buy those kind of assets, we have preparedness in our corner, because we can prepare for when this collapses, then we won't be affected as much. So at the end of that video, as you heard him, he said that the pretty much the working class are the ones who are going to be affected the most. But let's just put preparedness into that. If you already have your home, right? Because preparedness needs to be done the proper way. Yes, you may live in an apartment, but if you work yourself to where you actually can own a home or a piece of property, you can turn that into something that is going to be self-sustained. And it does have to have a minimum of acreage. It has to have all these things, because that's just going to work in your favor and it's going to be better off for you. So what I teach you here, you need to have at least 5 to 10 acres. And the reason is because you're planning on having all this big garden, all these fruit trees and nut trees, all this livestock, and the chicken coops and everything that they go in. You building a home, and if you cannot build a home, then you can put a mini home there for you and your entire alliance. So you're gonna need space. That is the reason why you need at least 5 to 10 acres. And when you talk about security, if people try to come through, let's just remember what happened with Antifa and Black Lives Matter last summer. When they went to the suburbs, they were able to just stand feet away from people's front door and, throw things, break windows, do all this other stuff that they did. If you have 5 acres between the road and your house, then it's gonna be a lot easier to protect your property. That is the reason why you want that bug allocation in your house. You move out of the apartment into a home, and you want to look for those type of things when it comes to your preparedness. Now, if you're taking those baby steps right now, it's going to help you on later on. We don't know when this is going to collapse. We just know it's going to happen. All right. And rich people are starting to mention it because they're freaking out about the small percentage that everything has been inflated. Okay.
The Man-Made Survival Show.